America was built on war. For decades, the nation persevered through treacherous victories and painstaking losses, always seemingly triumphant. But with that being said, who could have ever known that their very own civil war would have been the bloodiest? How did we get to this point? In the beginning of this video, I said America was built on war. That's only partially true. America was built on slavery. The devastating reality of slavery had already been around for nearly 300 years by the time the Civil War struck. The fuel for this war is still widely debated, but it can all be traced back to one thing: the usage of African Americans as property. But then, a glimmer of hope came. Abraham Lincoln was elected president on November 6, 1860, and with him, he brought moral and economical opposition to slavery. This glory was short-lived, though, as free and slave states would end up fighting over whether the national government should have as much power as it had, this power being to prohibit slavery in the territories that had not yet become states. So much so that Americans felt the need to start a war over it, with each other. The generally accepted turning points of the Civil War are that of the Battle of Antietam, emancipation of the slaves, the Battle of Gettysburg, and the Battle of Vicksburg. While all 50 major battles of the Civil War play significant roles in the outcome, these turning points help push the Union to their victory. The Civil War was initiated when the Confederates bombarded Fort Sumter in 1861 and eventually won with only 4 casualties. While the Confederacy lost a few of the next battles, they maintained a solid winning streak and things weren't looking great for the Union. Once the Battle of Antietam hit, there was a certain level of fear that hit both sides. They would need foreign assistance, specifically from Great Britain. Britain didn't end up helping the Confederacy and was actually hoping for a victory on that of Union soil. And so the Union managed to pull through and the battle was pronounced a tactical draw. President Lincoln was a loud supporter of the Union, and he actually ended up writing a letter to a journalist saying that if freeing the slaves could help the Union, then he would emancipate them. He issued the Emancipation Proclamation 5 days after the Battle of Antietam. This freeing of slaves turned what used to be a tactical draw into a Union-leading war. The Confederacy's fight eventually turned into one of independence rather than slavery. The Battle of Gettysburg turned out to be arguably the most important battle of the entire Civil War. It was General Lee's last chance at an offensive win, although it wouldn't take long for him to lose. The fact that the Union won ruined the Confederacy. If the Confederates had won, the future would have been even more dim for the North. Gettysburg was a turning point because of the Union's surprising victory and the even more surprising loss of the Confederacy under the direction of Lee. For most historians, the Battle of Vicksburg was the main turning point of the Civil War. Grant's army was far too strong for Lee and his elaborate plans, and his fall was detrimental to the Confederacy. Vicksburg was essentially the key to the entire war. The Union won it, took control of Mississippi, and basically reached the point where they could set their victory in stone.
'cause I'm blind to it all. In my mind, my gun, they comfort